In a dramatic shakeup of the US military, President Donald Trump has fired several top military leaders, including America's most senior commander, Air Force General Charles C.Q. Brown, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of the Staff. This unprecedented move has sparked political backlash and raised concerns about military independence. General C.Q. Brown was appointed as chairman of the Joint Chiefs just 16 months ago, becoming only the second black officer to hold the position. He played a key role in US military operations in Ukraine and the Middle East. However, Brown's support for diversity initiatives and public alignment with the Black Lives Matter movement after George Floyd's death reportedly led to friction with the Trump administration.
As the commander of Pacific Air Forces, a senior leader in our Air Force, and an African American, many of you may be wondering what I'm thinking about the current events surrounding the tragic death of George Floyd. I'm thinking about how full I am with emotion, not just for George Floyd, but the many African Americans that have suffered the same fate as George Floyd. And thinking about a history of racial issues and my own experiences that didn't always sing of liberty and equality. I'm thinking about my Air Force career, where I was often the only African American in my squadron, or as a senior officer, the only African American in the room. I'm thinking about the pressure I felt to perform error-free, especially for supervisors I perceived had expected less from me as an African American. I'm thinking about having to represent by working twice as hard to prove their expectations and perceptions of African Americans were invalid. I'm thinking about the airmen who don't have a life similar to mine and don't have to navigate through two worlds. I'm thinking about how these airmen view racism, whether they don't see it as a problem since it doesn't happen to them, or whether they're empathetic. I'm thinking about our two sons. Now we had to prepare them to live in two worlds. Finally, I'm thinking about my historic nomination to be the first African American to serve as the Air Force Chief of Staff. I'm thinking about the African Americans that went before me to make this opportunity possible. I'm thinking about the immense expectations that come with this historic nomination, particularly through the lens of current events plaguing our nation. I'm thinking about how I may have fallen short in my career and will likely continue falling short living up to all those expectations. I'm thinking about how my nomination provides some hope, but also comes with a heavy burden. That's what I'm thinking about. I want to know what you're thinking about. I want to hear what you're thinking about and how together we can make a difference.
Now, adding to the controversy, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth publicly questioned whether Brown's race influenced his appointment, despite no evidence suggesting his promotion was anything other than merit-based. These sweeping dismissals have drawn sharp criticism from Democratic leaders. Representative Seth Moulton, a former Marine and Democrat from Massachusetts, called the move, and I quote, un-American, unpatriotic, and dangerous for our troops and national security. Meanwhile, Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, warned that these firings could undermine the professionalism and trust essential for military operations. During his election campaign, Trump repeatedly pledged to fire woke generals and senior officials whom he blamed for policy failures, including the Afghanistan withdrawal. Despite the abrupt dismissal, Trump issued a formal statement thanking General Brown for his 40 years of service, calling him, and I quote, a fine gentleman and an outstanding leader. I wish a great future for him and his family. For more updates, keep watching the Indian Express.